So when we talk about scaffolding, what do we mean?
Well, probably we're thinking about the scaffolding, aren't we, when we're doing painting or scaffolding around a building. And if we think about our children getting a bit wobbly, that they're actually needing us to kind of be that support to help them kind of keep going, to be stabilised, if you like. So it is a type of support, I guess, but it might need to happen over time. And I think when we're thinking about scaffolding a child that's traumatised, the best things that we can do as parents is to retain their normal routines so that life seems predictable for them, and focus on all those basics, like, good food, good your sleep's really important, sleep routines, activity levels, so they're getting out in nature, fresh air, sunlight, all of those things that we know are going to keep our children well. And perhaps also when they're dealing with stress, because this is what trauma is about, managing stress, perhaps reducing some unnecessary demands. If it feels like they've got a really busy life and they just need to be able to have more time to rest, then perhaps reducing some of those could be helpful as well. I don't know if you'd have anything to add to that, Catherine.
No, I think you're covering. I mean, I suppose what comes to my mind is that there's almost like general scaffolding. So, that just well-being. And I think as parents, when our young people are going through a tough time, we can kind of think, how do we fix it? How do we get it sorted? And you take a big deep breath, mum and dad and whoever else is important in that young person's life, because literally just having life chugging along, as Sam's saying, helps. Because we can often think, well, we haven't done that thing, or what's that thing to do to kind of make it okay? And we need to be reminded that doing just life is actually really essential. So we're settling into those routines, we're supporting their nutrition, we're supporting, all of those things that we might think that it's not rocket science, it's nothing big and flashy, but that kind of scaffolding in terms of just generally doing life really helps. And then we've almost then got the scaffolding for those moments when things are getting out of control, or feel like they're getting out of control. And so that's where it might be around, again, having some things that you've talked about with your young person about what's needed in those moments. Because if they're not regulating themselves, sometimes we need to be the calm that they get invited into rather than getting invited into their storm. And so, what are the things in those particular moments that we might need to bring in the scaffold a little bit closer to be able to support them. And I know we've banged on about this, so we apologise. Actually, we don't apologise. We need to bang on about it. Is if the scaffold's not on firm ground, then it can be a bit useless. So we need you as the scaffold to be well cemented in, so that doesn't mean you always have to be okay, but it means that you are taking care of yourself, because literally our nervous systems talk to each other. And no matter how much you're trying to be a scaffold, if we're not looking after ourselves and our scaffold's wobbly, then that's going to be not making it so easy for the little person. Now, let me be really clear to say that doesn't mean you can't be wobbly, parent. It's compulsory that we're wobbly. It's just that we're keeping an eye on our wobbliness, and we're making sure that we've got a scaffold around us. So it's kind of like literally who's got our back. And if that needs to be professional support, go for it. There's no shame in that. In fact, just as I said before about resilience is about knowing when I might be a bit wobbly. And if my little person or my big person is needing me, I actually need to take care of myself.